Hello, good afternoon. Actually, good morning. Thank you for joining today's webinar session on how to manage corrective actions, audits in steel construction and construction industry in general. My name is Kevin Devecioglu. I am the Managing Director of Bimser International. Today, with my colleagues, we'll be talking about how you can manage your corrective actions, audits, digitally in a paperless work environment. Before we get started and before I introduce my colleagues, please make sure that you keep your microphones muted so we can have a better webinar experience and quiet background. Thank you very much. Today with me, I have my colleagues. I have Alex Kvartirov from MRAS Consulting. He'll be talking about fundamentals of audit and corrective action management. Also, with me today, I have my colleague Sam Watt. He is our pre-sales software engineer from our engineering team. He'll be talking about our QDMS software as to show you how you can manage your corrective actions and audits digitally in this digital age. And we also have our product manager with us for Canvas, and we'll be also addressing your questions towards the end of our webinar session. If you have any questions, please type your questions in the chat box, and we'll address your questions during Q&A session at the end of our webinar. And also, just for your information, we are recording this webinar and we'll be making it available on our YouTube channel. Now, as a start, what I like to do is I like to invite my colleague, Alex Kvartirov, to our virtual stage, and Alex will be talking about fundamentals of audit and corrective action management. After Alex's presentation, we'll show you how you can manage your corrective action audits digitally. Alex, are you ready?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, very good. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining this webinar. And Kevin, thank you for inviting me. I will be talking about managing corrective actions and audits from a policy standpoint. Okay, so before I start my brief presentation, I just wanted to introduce myself and my company, MRAS Consulting. I myself, I'm a certified ISO 9001-2015 lead auditor, and I'm the sole proprietor of MRAS Consulting. Now, I had a lengthy career as a project manager in a large aerospace company, which was certified to the AS 9100 quality standard. AS 9100 is the aerospace standard. And about 5 years ago, I started my consulting company. And what I do is I provide consulting services for businesses to achieve and maintain ISO certification. Now, about 2 years ago, I became a Bimser solutions partner, mostly to support the marketing activities for the QDMS tool and provide assistance to businesses in the application of this tool, because I found that the tool, the QDMS tool, is an excellent, has capabilities to really support and maintain all of the data that's associated with ISO, and I guess, and I also do quite a number of webinars and lectures on various ISO topics. Now, when Kevin asked me to make this presentation, I was not really familiar with the requirements of AISC. However, doing a little bit of research, I found out that there's a lot of common aspects between ISO and AISC. So let me address the main issue about what ties both of them together is the quality management system, or QMS. Okay, so the concept of a quality management system is really an integral part of the AISC certification program. And it is really pretty much the same for every industry. Now, so what is a QMS? And I kind of looked around and the business dictionary, I thought, gave the best definition of the QMS, and I'm just going to read it because it's really, I think, identifies all the elements of it. It's collective policies, plans, practices, and supporting infrastructure by which an organization aims to reduce and eventually eliminate non-conformance to specifications, standards, and customer expectations in the most cost-effective and efficient manner. So I thought it's kind of a long sentence, but I think it gives you a really good overview of what QMS is. Now, a very important part is that any organization must have a comprehensive collection of processes and procedures to meet its goals to satisfy, either ISO or AISC certification requirements. So obviously what I'm going to talk today is really two aspects of it. Obviously the audits and the corrective action. So what I got this information from is an article by Todd Allwood from the 2010 Modern Steel Construction, journal. And before I leave the slide, I just wanted to show that the basis of QMS is this plan, do, check, act cycle, okay, which was developed back in the 50s by the well-known management consultant William Deming. And that is really the heart of QMS because it's what drives continuous improvement. So once you've identified the QMS and defined what the elements are for your organization, it really has to be continuously evaluated and adhered to really be effective. Okay, so let's now go on to the next slide, where we're going to be addressing now specifically the corrective actions, okay, which obviously corrective actions leads to continuous improvement. So that's a very important part of this loop. How do you really manage corrective actions? Well, you obviously have to monitor, and of course you have to identify what you'll be monitoring, measuring, and now analysis. Analysis is a very important part of doing evaluation of non-conformances because analysis has to be based on data that you collect to perform this evaluation. So what are really some of the requirements in doing analysis of non-conformances? So the analysis process of how you and what you're really looking for, the data that you collect to do analysis of non-conformances has to be defined in your organization's QMS. So that's a very key element of that. Now, one should then identify, and there's really no requirement as to what kind of tools you use to do your analysis, and there are a number of root cause analysis methods and tools available. The most typical ones are the 5Y, the fishbone, Pareto charts, and there are other tools, but that's really not important as long as you identify which tools are the best way to identify the cause of your problems. So now you have to really perform the investigation, and again, the goal is to identify the cause of the problem. So you have to really get to the bottom of it and know exactly what the problem are. And as a result, you want to make sure that you prevent the non-conformance from happening again. That's the whole purpose of it. Now, to perform that, your quality management system has to have standing operating procedures, which define who's responsible, who has the authority to perform the investigation process. So this has to be organized and not a haphazard way of trying to guess or to solve a particular problem. Now, the investigation of problems should be an activity that's focused on the system and not on the individuals. Obviously, it's very easy to blame certain problems, non-conformances on individuals, but really you have to look at the entire system, what caused the problem. And again, the bottom, I have a kind of a simple diagram here, and that's really part of this loop that I talked previously. So you analyze your actions, you do an evaluation, you verify the changes that you plan to incorporate. Then, of course, now to do the improvement, you carry out the plan changes. So that's really part of that continuous loop. So this is really part of the corrective actions that from a policy standpoint. So the next slide is the audits, okay? And then what is really the goals and purpose of audits? And well, there are different audits. Obviously, there's certification audits, there's surveillance audits, and there are internal audits, which if you are certified, then you have to have to carry out yearly an internal audit to make sure that the QMS is functioning at its peak effectiveness. So that the goal of the audit is really to make sure that your QMS complies with the requirements of AISC and the policy and procedures of your organization. Then the other thing, you have to make sure that it's effectively implemented and maintained. You know, it's nice to have a QMS established on paper, but if you're not following the QMS, then really it doesn't serve any purpose. Now, if you see that there's issues or problems that the QMS has to be improved, then that's the whole purpose of the audit, is to identify non-compliances with the actual QMS process of your organization and then make appropriate corrections. Now, what information does the audit cover? All right, obviously an audit has to review, as I mentioned before, processes is an important part of the QMS. So then the review of the processes and their interrelationships have to be verified. That's a very important part, so that the processes interact efficiently. And if they don't do that, then you have to make appropriate changes to your processes. The other part of the audit is to review your documents and their control process. So that's a very important part, that the way your documents, and that could be both your customer requirements, could be your internal policy documents, that you have a process that really controls all the changes to your documentation, and that you have full traceability of making all the changes. And then, of course, you have to have a review of your records, and records is really the data that you collect as part of your normal business as far as your organization. And they you know, depending of your organization, it varies where your records are coming from, but this is all your information, you know, technical, that deals with your organization. And this is based on those records, then you make an analysis to make improvements. So during the audit, all of this information has to be made available to the person or people that are performing the audit. Now, how do you really maintain this QMS data? Okay, that's obviously, typically there's a lot of information, and there's really no specific requirements as how this data must be maintained. And traditionally, in the older days, it used to be hard copies that would be stored in file cabinets, and that's really acceptable. But it's really, you have very poor control over that, and certainly when performing an audit, that makes it very difficult to retrieve all that information. Now, a better way nowadays is obviously through electronic files. But again, typically Excel is a very good tool for keeping all the records. But again, if you have a large organization, it could be really scattered throughout your company. And again, to support an audit that requires some coordination. The best way is to have your entire QMS data saved on a central server and also managed by a software tool. And specifically, the software tool that I'm referring to is QDMS, because now you have all the information in one central database so that whoever is performing the audit, whether it's an internal audit or actually an audit by a external auditor, let's say for certification, then all the information is available right there. And in fact, in today's COVID environment, most of the audit could be performed virtually. So the auditor doesn't have to be present, physically present at your organization's location. So that's, the takeaway here is that the tool, specifically QDMS, provides an excellent mechanism for you to deal with all of this data and help you to maintain and support the continuous improvement that's required as part of the certification. So that is really a very top level introduction. And again, thank you very much for listening to my presentation. And I guess I'll pass it on to Kevin. Thank you very much.
Alex, thank you for the insights and informative presentation. Much appreciated, as always. Thank you. Now we have the foundational information about corrective action management as well as audit management. Now let's see how you can manage it electronically with the help of QDMS software. Now I'd like to invite my colleague Sam to our virtual stage. Sam will be performing a demonstration for you to see how you can perform your audits as well as corrective actions digitally on QDMS software. He'll be talking about and presenting about and demonstrating about corrective action management, preventive action management, audit management, reports, as well as dashboards. Just like Alex mentioned earlier, there are also tools that you can use for root cause analysis during corrective action management. We also have ready-made tools, as Alex mentioned earlier, such as 5Y, Pareto analysis, 8D approach, Ishikawa, also known as fishbone analysis. We also have them ready-made for you to utilize. So Sam will be showing you those tools as well. So this is going to be a high-level demonstration. So we will be introducing you how you can manage your corrective actions and audit management activities digitally. If you have, of course, questions, you can type in the chat box and we'll address during Q&A session. Also, if you'd like to schedule a one-on-one session with us, our email address is on the screen. So we can definitely, you can definitely send us an email, and then we can schedule time with you, and we can talk about your company's quality management goals, and we can, talk more about it and further to address these subject matter. Just brief information about QDMS. QDMS is our quality, risk, audit, and compliance management software. We have been developing QDMS since 1998. We have more than 1,000 corporate customers and more than 1 million professional users. We have many customers in construction industry as well, in addition to other industries. So this is a very mature system, very reliable, and it's been in the market for decades. So we are very happy to introduce this solution to you to help you manage your audit management activities digitally. Sam, why don't you take over the screen and perform the demonstration for us to see how to manage audits and corrective actions digitally.
Sure.
Thank you. I'll stop sharing so you can go ahead.
Okay. Great. And can you see my screen? The homepage of QDMS. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Anytime. And thank you for joining today's webinar. And this is Sam, the pre-sale software engineer of Bimser International. Today, I will demonstrate you QDMS, our quality, risk, audit, and compliance management system. And you will see how QDMS can help you to manage your corrective and preventive action, also your audit operation by using our system for complying with AISC and other standards or regulations like ISO. So this is the homepage after you log into QDMS. First of all, you will see all your pending tasks and also the request for approval on this home screen. You can get a quick connection and start processing with this particular request by opening the widget on this homepage. QDMS is a permission-based system. Different users will have different permissions based on their role, position, profession, department, or group. As I'm now logging in as the admin so that I have the full control of the system. The typical example will be, I can see all the items in my main menu. And thanks to the modular structure of QDMS, you can always pick and choose the module that you want to have and deploy on your server, either on your on-premise server or on your cloud server. And let's get started, first of all, to the corrective action module. And before showing you the corrective action, actually in today's agenda or today's scenario for my demonstration, we receive a customer complaint from a customer saying, so there's a customer complaint about the defective materials that we have sent out to our customer place. So right here, I can go to my customer complaint list. And this is the one, the customer name as ABC Holdings. We receive a complaint about the defective materials, and after that, we can assign a team to take care of this complaint and attach any document if there's any, for example, the image for this particular defective material. After that, while we are filing our first progress report, we have an option to create a corrective and preventive action as known as CAPA. So starting from here, we can create a new corrective action, and you will see the non-conformity will be filled automatically based upon the complaint. After that, we can also pick and choose the corrective action source, which is coming from the customer complaint. Also, the related or associated customer name will also be shown in this corrective action as well. So first of all, now you can see the built-in integration between the modules of QDMS. When we have, in terms of creating our corrective action, it also can be a standalone or coming from a customer complaint. After that, we can find the non-conformity, and also we can pick and choose the non-conformity category. After that, we can also define the solution team for handling this corrective action, and also the attachment can be uploaded from our local as well. For example, I'm going to upload the image of that defective material. And now this file is uploaded, and it can always be a reference for this record. When the information are ready, then we can save this, and this corrective action record will be created. And as you can see right here, we have another mandatory fields that we have to enter. And now this corrective action is created. As the responsible person of the solution team, also we have to file our first progress report, and we can come back to our homepage and see where is our corrective action that it just opened. So right here, this is the one that we just create with the corrective action number 239. And you can also see with the same customer name as we just entered. And I can open this up and start filing my first progress report. So in this first progress report, we can enter what we have found and what is the description or the detail for this non-conformity. For example, customer ABC company ordered, let's say, the steels with the purchase order or invoice number 1234, and still doesn't meet the requirements, for example. And this is what we have found. And now we can invite, or we also have an option to invite more team members to this solution team. For example, it's involved different departments, like the sales department and also the manufacturing department and the shipping department also. Then we can invite the member, and this is the user list that we have in QDMS. So you're more than welcome to invite more than one members to this as a solution team. Again, we can also attach the documents here as a supportive information to this first progress report. After that, we can save our first progress report and then carry out the next step. On the top, you can see different tabs, and we are going to follow it one by one. After doing the first progress report, then we can record our root cause. For example, after our root cause analysis, we will find that the reason why is for this non-conformity is because we are lack of the training procedure. And also we can enter the description right here as well, like there is no training procedure in the company, for example. And after that, we can save this root cause. And since we have our root cause is saved in the system, of course, we want to carry out certain action, corrective action, in order to cope with this particular root cause, so that we can also define an action. It can be a corrective action or preventive action. Furthermore, we can also pick and choose the action performer who is going to perform this corrective action in order to cope with this particular root cause. And you can enter the detail of this corrective action, like put together the training procedure, and have an expiry date for the action performer, like he can have a week to perform this action. And we have to also pick and choose the root cause that we are coping with, like the lack of training procedure. This is the root cause, and this is the associated corrective action in order to dealing with this particular root cause. After that, we can save this, and this corrective action record will be assigned to the action performer. As I assign this to myself, Bimser Int admin, which is my user account name, I can log into my system and find my task on my homepage. So right here, we have our corrective action that I have to perform. As you can see right here, still the same record, 239, and I can open this up and find out what has been assigned to me, and I have to update this record accordingly. First of all, I will open this action and see what I'm supposed to do. Okay, put together the training procedure. So saying now I have my training procedure ready, and then I have to update the status of this particular action, which means we have to update the record as performed, which means I performed certain action. So now I have to enter what I've done, like the training procedure is ready. And I can load my training procedure as an attachment to this particular action record. After that, I can save this and mark this action as performed in the system. So now what you have done will be sent to the responsible person of the solution team. So now it is waiting for my approval, since I am also the responsible person of the solution team. So I can find this approval request on my home screen. So let me go down, and the corrective action that is waiting for my approval. So as you can see right here, we can have a workflow for handling the non-conformity. And for this workflow, we can always configure it based upon the actual operation of your company. So right here, we can go to our list and see what we have to manage. As for right here, we have our action. So as this is finished, like the action is performed, we can also define certain follow-up action to our record 239. If there is any follow-up action, for example, we want to make sure this problem will not happen again in coming 3 months, then we can assign a responsible person for this follow-up action, and also the follow-up finish date. Like we have 3 months, then that will be 2021, like February 6th, 2021. And we can enter the description of this particular follow-up action, like GEO is required, and make sure this non-conformity will not happen again in coming 3 months, for example. Then we can send this out again, and the responsible person, which is myself, will receive a notification on my home screen. By the time come, like we perform the drill, and this non-conformity doesn't happen in the following week, following months, then we can update our record and file our follow-up report. So this is the one that we have, and then we can write our follow-up report. Like drill performed it, and the NC didn't happen again. And we can also upload our attachment as evidence. For example, the drill that we have performed. So we can have our follow-up action, and also the picture that about the drill that we have, and upload all together, save it. After that, it will go to the approval. And now we can also go to our approval list and close this particular corrective action accordingly. So right here, we can come back and see what we have, and then we can close it, close this corrective action after we review the follow-up report. And we can record the cost for this corrective action if there's any, and you can always keep tracking how much we spent in our company for handling or for performing the corrective action. So this is a high level how it's work as for the corrective action module. Also, as Kevin and Alex mentioned, we have our root cause analyze tool that helps you to do your root cause analyze. So you can find this tool in the extension of QDMS, which I'm going to put on my screen. And by using that tool, you can perform your root cause analysis by using our application like 8D model, 5 whys, Pareto, and also the Ishikawa model. So right here, we have different applications that help you to manage your quality. And we have our root cause analyze tool right here. As you can see, we have our 5Y model, 5Y2 AD model, fishbone diagram, and also Pareto chart. And let me show you one of the example right here is the fishbone Ishikawa diagram. So after we opening our tool, so that you will see what we have designed and help you to do your root cause analysis. So right here, you can see we have our Ishikawa diagram, and we can measure or we can enter different reasons that will lead or that will result in this particular problem, like defective material. And we can pick and choose, for example, for the material, what can be the reason? And we can pick and choose the material like the root cause, like it's about the supplier. Then we can add this to our list. And also, for example, like the machine. So for the machine, maybe it is about the rusty pipe. It will lead or result the defective materials as well. After that, we can send this to our workflow for this Ishikawa diagram. And after that, the system will create a corrective action in the system, in QDMS automatically. So we can have our root cause analyzed and then create a corrective action in QDMS automatically. And please keep in mind that the form design that you can see on the form, on this extension and also the workflow, they are not constant, which means we can always update the workflow and the form design anytime by using our tool. In addition, you can also find all the records that we have as for this root cause analyze tools. Like for the Ishikawa diagram, let me write in this one. We can find all the records that we have as for the analyze that we have done. And also as for others like the 5 whys, we can also open all the 5 whys record that we have. And it will be shown like the root cause, the problem, and then the first why, the answer for the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth whys. So we can always open the existing record or the history of our analyze and put this on our screen. Now let us get into the audit management module, where we can find and manage our audit operation digitally. And by using this module, the audit management module, you will be ready for your audit operation anytime and anywhere with the internet connection. And you can use this audit management module for auditing internally and also externally as well, like auditing your supplier, vendor, or contractor. And right here, you can see we have an internal audit planning, and the planning is like the goal that we want to achieve. As for internal audit, we want to audit all the departments and every single employees in departments, so that we can create the audit item under our audit planning. So right here, you can see this is one of the audit item under this planning, is we are going to audit the sales department. As for managing the audit item, you can enter the audit date, audit time, and also the subject, like how you are going to get approach with the prospect, or how to keep the relationship with an existing customer, for example. So those can be a particular subject for this audit. You can also invite the auditor and also the auditee to this audit as well. Another nice features in QDMS is we can pick and choose the questions in the question pool of QDMS so that these questions can be a reference for the auditor. And the auditor can get an idea of what they should ask the auditee, especially for, let's say, the quality management department. They are not supposed to perform a self-audit. Saying we have another manager or high management, for example, the COO, auditing this particular quality management department, then we can define the question that will be asked to the quality management department, even though our COO doesn't have any idea or what he or she should ask this particular quality management department. But they can the COO can always refer to the question that we have defined here and ask the auditee accordingly. Furthermore, when this audit item is created, then you can find the notification on the home screen. And in terms of the notification, you can find this in QDMS, and also you will receive a notification or a reminder in your email inbox as well. As for performing the audit, you can get a quick connection to this audit and find out what you should ask to the auditee, like this audit question. And also as the auditor, you can also record the answer that you get from the auditee as well, like to the first question. And then we can enter the answer and record it digitally by using the audit module. Furthermore, we can enter our findings and create the corrective action accordingly as well. Like we have our findings, and we can define it as major findings or minor finding. And we can have a definition here as for the findings and also the detail. After that, we can save this. And once we have this here, we can also create a corrective action accordingly. So like right here, when we are recording the answer, we can also create a corrective action and then pick and choose the finding type. After that, we can go to next step. And all this information will be saved in this audit management module. As for the modules in QDMS, there is a reporting tool that allows you to create different ready-made report. For example, like the corrective action report or the follow-up report. We want to see how many follow-up action that we have, and we can put our condition before generating our report. Also, you can have a graphical report saying, I want to see which department handled the most corrective action in QDMS. So on our left, we can pick and choose the y-axis as for the responsible department. And we can choose the time frame as well. Like I want to see, starting from the beginning of this year, which department handled the most corrective action, and all your data will be shown in a bar chart and also in a table. You're more than welcome to export your report into Excel, PDF, or image for sharing with any responsible parties, and also for preparing your meeting. Same thing for the audit module. We can have our reporting tool to create our ready-made report, like audit score report, the findings by audit, and also create our graphical report as well. In QDMS, you can also find the dashboard. It shows you all your data in a dashboard and gives you an overview of the performance and KPI of your company. And this is one of our examples in terms of the dashboard. So we can have a dashboard like managing different a dashboard for Pareto. And we can see what we have found, and we can click it and see the percentage and also the category for this particular non-conformity, for example. So you can see the number, and those will be also shown in a line chart as well. So it's helped you to keep tracking, again, the performance and also KPI of your company or for different departments. It's come to the end of my demonstration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam, for the demonstration. Let me take over the screen and we can continue our webinar session. Okay, great. So far we talked about fundamentals of audit management, fundamentals of corrective action management, and also we performed a demonstration on our QDMS software solution as to how you can manage your corrective actions and audits digitally in a paperless work environment. So as I mentioned earlier, you may have some questions, and please type your questions in the chat box and we'll address your questions during our Q&A session, which is coming up soon. Now what I like to do is I just like to share some information with you about our company, who we are, what we do briefly, and I like to talk about QDMS, about its capabilities and its benefits. And then we'll address your questions right after my brief presentation. As Bimser International, we are an enterprise software maker since 1998, and we are based in New York. In a sense, we help companies simplify their business processes and help them adopt digital transformation. We are very active in various business communities, manufacturing, construction, professional services, and other industries. So we are constantly interacting with different business communities about digital transformation and paperless work environment. We have an internship program called Universal Bimser International. We teach university students how to do pre-sales and software engineering. As a company, while we are based in New York, we have global presence. We are a group of companies, and we are a growing organization. We are backed by European banks. They are one of our investors. So we have international presence, and we support our customers and partners constantly. As for quality management systems, we are ISO 9001 certified and ISO 271 certified. Since 1998, we focus on these products only. So we are very specialized as to what we are doing. We have EBA, for example, as our workflow and automation platform. We have BIM for asset maintenance and facility management. We have QDMS that we have been talking about it, and I'll share more information about it as our quality, risk, audit, and compliance management software. And we have Ensemble as an intelligent business process modeling and performance management software. We have two new products coming in. We have contract management application to help you manage your contracts digitally. And we have a cloud native software platform called Synergy to help you manage your business processes, workflows, and documents in a native cloud environment. Let's look at QDMS for a second. On this slide, you can see how many projects we have deployed by the end of last year, since 1998. As for QDMS, as you see, we have deployed quality management software more than 1,000 times. It also shows more or less how many customers we have. So we have more than 1,000 corporate customers, and we have more than 1 million professional users. We work with many reputable companies and organizations in North America as well as internationally. So these important companies and reputable companies, they put their trust and confidence in our company and in our product, and we are proud of it. We work with 3M, we work with Ford, we work with United Nations, Renault, Bridgestone, Galaiva Chocolate is one of our customers. We work with Henkel and many other reputable organizations. Briefly, I'd like to also talk about QDMS a little bit, our quality management system. So as for quality management approach, our actually angle, our scope is actually digital transformation. So it is important for companies to adopt digital transformation because with the help of digital transformation, you can capture opportunities enabled by technology. So there are benefits of digital transformation adaptation. You can be more competitive, you can be more compliant, you can increase your productivity, you can increase customer satisfaction, you can be more efficient. So it is important to be adopting digital transformation. That is actually our scope. And when we engage with companies, especially for quality management and from the digitization point of view, there are challenges that we understand. We know that many companies, they have hard time managing their quality or compliance related documents and document management activities. Corrective action is another challenging subject matter, as we learn from many different companies and we help them address. Also, audits are challenging because when we think about all these quality management systems, including AISC, it's actually designed to help you have a safe work environment, help you manufacture safe products, also help you increase customer satisfaction, efficiency, and also help you have a continuous work environment, work culture. That is actually where it is going, and these are the objectives. So in that sense, of course, this type of challenges, as I list on the screen, are very typical, as we see in the marketplace, as well as those companies complying with AISC. And in that scope, our basically approach is with this framework. We call it digital transformation framework for quality management. So basically you have three things that you need to complete to adopt digital transformation and to be compliant digitally. The first piece is assurance. That's basically referring to your quality assurance system. In this particular case today, we are talking about AISC. They have a nicely organized, well-written and guided quality management standards in place. So that's the quality assurance system that you are complying with. And control is, you need to have control points in your operations, in your administrative operations, in your manufacturing or steel fabrication operations, for example. So control is another point that we need to keep in mind. And the third piece in this framework is predictive. So it's basically referring to smart sensors and other remotely monitoring devices. So you can also utilize these devices to remotely monitor your workspaces, work environment, and your performance. That is how we actually created QDMS, to help you apply this digital transformation framework. As I mentioned earlier, we've been developing QDMS since 1998. It's a proprietary software product of our company, of Bimser International. We have more than 1,000 corporate customers and more than 1 million professional users using QDMS. So in addition to AISC requirements, you can also comply with other standards as well on QDMS in one instance. So you may be complying with ISO, you may be complying with other standards as well. You can also manage them on QDMS. Also, please keep in mind that you also have to comply with OSHA standards, right? Because these are regulations that you have to follow. Those standards also can be managed on QDMS. You can manage your instance reports, you can put together your OSHA reports, and you can generate on QDMS in a digital environment, in a paperless work environment, which is actually very, very practical if you think about it. QDMS has a very modern technology. It's web-based. So once they make it ready for you, you can access QDMS from anywhere. You can connect it from your office, from your job site, from your home, or if you are basically working remotely or you are having business trip, you can still connect QDMS to manage your policies, procedures, corrective actions, audits, and other compliance and quality management related activities. And once we train you properly, you can manage QDMS yourself. It's very user-friendly, as my colleague Sam demonstrated earlier. So you won't need outside support or consultants that much. It's very user-friendly. While we have 24-hour support, it is very user-friendly for you to manage. QDMS has a modern technology, as I mentioned. So as part of it, it is ready to connect with other systems, ERP systems, CRM systems, manufacturing execution systems, and IoT devices. So we can data. The idea is to help you have an integrated work environment. So this is an optional feature that you can always keep it in mind, and we can always help you connect with other systems as well as your company. So QDMS is modular. Today we've demonstrated corrective action module and audit management module for you. There are other modules available on QDMS, control document management for managing policies and procedures, for example, customer complaint module, risk management module, calibration module, as well as incident management module, which also can be used for OSHA requirements, for example. And there are many other modules available. These are just some of them. We have more than 30 modules. So you can pick and choose any module you like based on your priorities and your quality management system. So let's also address your questions in this Q&A session. I've been also receiving some questions, and I'd like to also address them one by one. So one of the questions, for example, we've been receiving is about the mobile application. I think this question is for you, Sam. Is there any mobile application available for QDMS to manage audits and corrective action?
Yes, QDMS has its native mobile application. It is available for Android and iOS device. So you can install QDMS on your smartphone or tablet and manage your corrective action and audit operation on your handheld device.
Great, thank you very much, Sam. So today also we address fundamentals of audit and corrective action management from the quality management policy point of view, which is actually in line with AISC requirements, which is very, very important. So one of the questions is actually regarding to that. So audit and corrective action management. So Alex, this question is for you. So as for audit management, especially for internal audits that we perform at our company while complying with AISC, what is the frequency of audit management, especially for internal audits? How often we should perform internal audits at our company, Fabricated Steel?
Well, in general, an audit must be performed once a year, but you can break it down and do parts of your do an audit for parts of your organization. You know, it's spread it out over a period of a year. It doesn't have to be done all at once, but all of the aspects of your QMS should be audited once a year. At least once a year.
At least once a year. Okay, great. So we know that AISC also performs certification audits. So also to make sure that company is ready for this audit, and also to make sure that company is actually following its QMS, its quality management system, I believe that these internal audits will be really, really helpful. Okay, great. So there is another question about pricing. So, well, the pricing is based on number of users for QDMS and number of modules that you go for. So that really depends. What we can do is we keep our contact information on the screen. If you see, we have our email addresses. So please send us an email. So we can talk about other details as to your priorities for quality management compliance, as well as pricing and other details if you're interested. Also, we'd like to also hear from you if you'd like to schedule a one-on-one session, a meeting about your quality management standards. You can send us an email, and we can also discuss how you are doing with your quality management system management at the moment, how you like to improve it and take it digital, make it paperless. We'll be also happy to talk about it as well. If you send us an email, we can schedule time with you. Okay, let me see if there is any other question on our list. I also received some private messages. Some of them we address. Okay, it looks like we address all the questions. So before we end our session, our meeting, I'd like to invite you to our YouTube channel. We have a very active YouTube channel, and we have product videos as well as recorded webinars, informative webinars available. So we believe you'll appreciate it. So if you visit Bimser International YouTube channel, you can see those videos. Please subscribe and follow us. We'll really be happy to have you on our YouTube channel regularly. In addition, we have an Eventbrite page where you can see our coming webinar sessions. These webinars are mostly about quality management, compliance management, asset management, maintenance management, as well as digitizing business processes to adopt the digital transformation. So you may find it helpful for your company and your organization. Please feel free to register on our Eventbrite page. I'd like to thank you for your time and thank you for your interest. And we are looking forward to seeing you in our coming webinar session. Thank you and have a nice day.